Hello, and welcome to the Aircraft Interiors Expo, coming to you from Hamburg in Germany. Before I go on, we've got a lot of stories for you to read at inflight-online.com, so please go on the web and have a look. In the meantime though, we've got 4 great features for you.
Well, at the show this week we're launching Glide IFE. It's our embedded version of the long-standing L7 and L10 DigiPlayer. We've taken the well-proven L7, L10 player and embedded in the seat. In this case you can see it's on an arm. A number of key features around this. Well, I guess we set out in the first instance to achieve 4 things. One is we wanted to build a very reliable IFE system, a very reliable embedded IFE system. We set ourselves a design target of 99.99%. We achieved that through 2 means. One is by having the screen itself replaceable by a flight attendant, so if a screen fails it can be replaced in flight. And secondly, by then making sure that the rest of the system is redundant in multiple levels. So I'll show you very quickly the change of a screen. A simple locking bracket comes out, the screen comes out, no replacement screen, simply sat in the mount, locking bracket's replaced, and we have a new screen. Clearly then, around that screen is a whole range of electronics to handle things like passenger address override, and USB passenger interfaces, those kind of things. In addition to the mount, obviously there's a seat back and a monument mount version. In addition to that is our power unit, which is the unit that fits underneath the seat. That unit can provide power and data to up to 6 players. It also provides 4 lots of 110 volts AC for laptop power. A key feature of the system is that there is only one head-end line replaceable unit. And so it's a very lightweight system. So having said, our first design criteria was 99.99% reliability. Our second was weight, and we set out to build a system that was less than 2 kilograms, and we've achieved that. And that's all up weight, so that's the entire system divided down by the number of passengers. Thirdly was cost. We've built a system that we believe is extremely competitive, and our customers are telling us is among the highest value on the market. And finally is the customer experience, and obviously we've built that by developing around a very well-proven and well-established DigiPlayer, of which there are over 16,000 flying today.
Now, if you listen to the industry experts, they make you believe that the hand controller you get with an IFE system is old hat. And in fact, companies are looking at using either eye tracking or hand gestures to do the same thing. So we went to Thales for a demonstration of their hand gesture system.
Hello, my name is Christopher Mondragon. I'm Senior Manager for Product Design and Brand Development at Thales. And I'd like to introduce our latest Crystal Cabin Award-winning product, which involves gesture control and eye tracking technology. So I'm excited to introduce that to you guys now. What you're seeing in front of you is our gesture control technology, which integrates a gesture control camera and IR emitter as part of the system. It is motion activated, so you're going to see me display that now. So I wake up the camera, and now through my hand I'm actually able to navigate through the screen. We mimic some of the touchscreen technologies, so I can go to a movie, I can launch the movie, I can choose my genre. Oh, I'm sorry, I went to the wrong one. I can go back to the movie, I can choose my genre, and I can actually launch a specific movie. All with my hand without ever touching the screen. Now what you're going to see is it also have integrated the player controls, so I can actually go in there, pause the movie, restart the movie. So we thought, well, how can we further enhance this experience? So what if I could actually integrate my in-flight magazine into the system, and I can actually turn the pages and navigate through a magazine. So again, another new feature. But I also can bring my MyFlight experience into here, so I can actually see my flight path and what's happening, when beverage services are happening. But you know what, I've never been to Las Vegas and I'm actually flying over it. So I actually can pull a 360 view of a Google Street Map and be able to navigate through the streets of Las Vegas to see some of the sights. We also can bring in special gesture games. You can have music as well. So again, really just giving the passenger a different experience of interfacing with a larger screen through gesture control. What I'd also now like to introduce you is our other technology that was an award-winning, which is the eye tracking technology. There's an initial calibration that has to occur. So what you're seeing me do is tracking this aircraft, and that's actually doing the calibration to my specific eyes. Once that 9-point calibration is done, then I'm actually able to interface with the system. So what you're going to see is through my eyes, I'm actually navigating. I'm going to movies. I can go choose Epic as a movie. And there's a dwell, so I actually have just launched the movie, strictly with my eyes. I can actually go back, stop the movie, and I'm back to the main system. So I can go back to the main menu, and I'm back there. So again, what we've introduced is different methods for the passenger to interface with the system. They can use a handset, they can use gesture control or eye tracking, and it's the next evolution of in-flight travel.
Back to connectivity now, and OnAir had a trio of announcements they made, and earlier today I spoke to Ian Dawkins to outline what they are.
We started the show off on the Tuesday with the announcement with Qatar Airways for A380s and A350s, and I think that's an extension from our existing contract. And what we've also just done today is we've spoken about Saudi Airlines, which is another extension for the current contract we've got, and that's looking at 777s. We've also got Libyan Airways, where we're extending the contract again. And I think from my side of things, what this is really just showing is where we first started off providing SPB services with our airlines from Emirates right the way through to all the customers I've just spoken about. It's seen that we can provide a quality service to the passenger. And I think as we've gone the first fleets, now they're expanding, and what we'll see over the next 2 to 3 years, all of these airlines go into full fleet deployment. So it's not just looking at long-range aircraft, looking at single-aisle aircraft. So we also have single-aisle aircraft for Libyan Airways today. So it's just another extension that we're looking at, and that will progress in the region.
Okay, it's beginning to suggest that connectivity is a must-have now.
Connectivity for me is definitely a must-have. I think all the primary airlines now are realizing they need it, and it's about providing a passenger service. But I think what's also it's expanding into is from their crew is looking at how can they provide some crew applications that enhance customer service in all sorts of number of ways, whether it's recognizing you as an individual or recognizing you have special requirements, or even about your luggage, etc. And I think what we'll also see again is this expanding into the cockpit as well, where you're providing EFB updates, electronic flight bag updates. So that's another important element, and what we've really seen is the service started off at the back of the aircraft and it's moving right way through. So actually we talk about the connected aircraft, and I think that's where the future is. It's passengers one element of the connected aircraft.
Okay, now you must be getting statistics on how passengers are actually using the service. What are they doing most nowadays?
I think what we see is if you have the choice between GSM and Wi-Fi, you do need both, that's for sure. You know, just offering one isn't adequate. What we see is when you have the choice between Wi-Fi and GSM, 80% of passengers use a GSM service. And I think that is very, very consistent around the world. Even with the new introduction of the iPads and tablets, etc., that's important as well. What we then see is people do what they do on the ground. It's exactly the same. You know, people when they wake in the morning look at their smartphone. You know, they do that. You know, they look at their mobile devices every 6 minutes, and it's no different from the air. So you have a behaviour activity on the ground that's just mimicked in the sky when you fly, and we see exactly the same trends. We have looked at what's happening on the ground. So I think from that side is we see it's becoming a behavioural thing from a passenger point of view. Again, what do people do? They do SMS. They look at data, look at your emails and things, and that's what you do through GSM. Now, if you want to look at a major presentation, yes, you go and do a Wi-Fi session. So it's getting the right balance between both, and that's why offering both, for us, is a really competitive advantage.
Ian Dawkins, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Steve.
People are taking their iPads on planes more and more, and if you go on an aircraft, you want connectivity with the ground. There's a number of ways of doing that. Lufthansa Systems launched their BoardConnect system about 12 months ago, so we talked to them about how that's been updated.
Over the last few months, we further enriched BoardConnect, added a lot of functionalities, and are obviously also working with customers on bringing the product into the field. Some of the enhancements we have is, for instance, a maintenance front end to support the maintenance staff in installing and maintaining the BoardConnect system. As you can see here, we do have a web front end which is very easy to access, and where you can not only look at all the part numbers, software part numbers, as well as hardware part numbers, but also drill into some of the details of the server, For instance, you see geographical positions, you see the modem status, you see how the hard drives are used and utilized. You always have a good red-green indication. And for instance, if you go to the access points, the system is clever enough to detect if all the access points are there. In this case here for the show, we have 2 access points to stream to all these devices, and if one of them would fail, this would turn red. If you plug in a new one, obviously it would go green.
Also, you were telling me about a new e-reader function on BoardConnect.
Yeah. What we had initially in the product was mainly audio and video on demand. We now are adding more and more other features. For instance, we just added an e-reader, which can integrate not just newspapers, but also e-books into a nice and easy to read format for personal devices. So it would function on phones as well as tablets, as well as laptops. Maybe I just open up the application. So we can go in there. So for instance here we have a couple of sample e-books in there. And we can open one of those and it would go into the book. You can easily move along the pages. You can obviously size it and zoom it, so that would also work on a phone.
Norbert Müller, thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Well, that's it for this episode of Inflight TV. If you want to know more about any of the stories you've heard, you'll find them on our website. Bye-bye.